new album is out today. When you do a new record, I don't know, do you try to always present a slightly new version of yourself, or is it just you're a different person because you've actually matured with age and experience, and it just comes out a new person of yourself, like a version?
Maybe both. I mean, I feel like I try to write, where I'm at in life, and I think right now I'm in a fun season of life. Like all my kids are in school for the first time ever, and so I feel like Lauren and I just kind of are freer these days. And so I think whatever I'm kind of going through in life sort of translates in music. But I think when it comes to making records, I feel like it's always trying to be progressive while remaining authentic. So.
The album is about a woman, and we're going to play some songs as we talk. This Overdrive, a bit of a metaphor?
Yes.
Or straight driving fast?
Driving fast, I guess. But yeah, we try to get creative on the hook. But yeah, I mean, I would say that this song is a pretty accurate story of my high school days, if you will. Do you have your first truck that you ever drove? Anybody have their very first vehicle they ever had?
That burnt.
I tried to find
dead.
it.
Yeah. No. Do you have yours?
I do. I bought it back.
Oh yeah, I remember when you did that.
I bought it back. And so I don't know, when I hear this song, I smell, Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce immediately. And I go straight back to like 90s, 2000s alt rock. And I don't know, I just can envision myself going to pick up Lauren in that truck. And I don't know, I love nostalgia. Like I'm a sucker for cheesy high school football films and, things that take me back to younger years. And so this kind of checks all those boxes for me.
When you and Lauren were first dating, because I saw the picture that one of you guys had posted recently. It was like at a football game. Yeah. Maybe it's been posted a couple times. I'm not sure. Did you guys say outwardly, we know we're going to get married, we're so in love? Because I'm sure that cycled in and out. But was that always the thing with you two?
For her, no. For me,
did you say that to her like as a kid?
I don't think so. We dated a little bit when we were like 16 years old, and dated other people for a long. We didn't really get back together until we were like 21, 22.
When you were dating at 16, though, did you feel like this is the person I'm going to marry?
I mean, I probably thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like in hindsight, you guys have always been together, even
for sure.
when you were
It
like
feels
3
that way.
years old.
I mean, we kind of even when we were dating other people, we actually still double dated together. So like,
what?
Yeah.
You mean you went out?
Like we always remained really good friends, and so like if I was dating somebody else and she was dating somebody else, we would go to the movie together, or like go to Sonic together, or like do the thing, and so we always remained like really close.
Sounds a bit fishy.
I feel bad for whatever girl.
Sounds a bit fishy.
Whatever girl you've had with you had to be like, oh my gosh, she's totally into this other girl.
No, there was a long time period where I seriously did. I completely had blocked it out of my mind. But I think like later on when I turned like sophomore, junior in college, I was just like, man, But I kind of thought she was going to get married to somebody else, and we actually see both of these people on a regular basis.
Did
like
they end up together by any chance?
The girl that I dated, I see her at church every Sunday, and one of the guys that Lauren dated, he comes to all of our like Halloween parties, Christmas parties, all the stuff. So we see a lot more of like the people that Lauren dated than I dated. So probably shows to her character. She probably dated better people than me.
You guys have been together, even married for a while.
Yeah.
How does she feel when you create something new and you bring it home and you're like, check out this song? Because it's even for my wife, and I say my wife loves me and supports me in every way.
Sure.
And we were talking about my wife doesn't listen to the show. She just does not care. She's like, I live with the show.
For sure.
So
I would say it's similar. I think like early on, she was with me a ton. Like before we got married, Lauren graduated as a nurse from the University of Tennessee. And when we were going into marriage counseling, our counselor was like, I think y'all just need to like really be together your first year of marriage. And so she was with me like with, 7 other dudes on the bus. And back then we were playing like 280, 300 and something plus shows. So, I mean, she got a full feel like 2012, 2013 on the road. But yeah, I used to play her like every song that I would write. And now I don't even really play her demos anymore. I wait till they're finished because Lauren gets like severe demoitis.
Demoitis.
It's bad. Yeah, I remember when I wrote Die Happy Man, I played her the demo, and then we went to the studio to cut it. She was like, I hate this version. And I was like, well, I can't put
thought it was too slick.
a 2 a.m. bus vocal out on the radio. But anyway, I've gotten to the point where I'll finish the record now, and then I'll play it all for her. So
what about this record sonically, musically, in people's ears? Are they going to feel a bit different?
Man, I worked with a different producer on this project. I don't know
Could
if
you explain what that, because again, I think we all know we're in the world of what a producer even is.
For sure.
But what does that
It's kind of
mean?
all over the place, yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean when you say work with a new producer? How does that affect you and what you're doing while you're in there?
I think that different producers use, different sounds. They come from different backgrounds. Their influences are different. And so on this record, Dan Huff remained a constant on this project, but my buddy Julian Bonetta, I don't know if, I think you've met Julian.
Yeah.
But he started, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and his first big project that he worked on was like the One Direction albums. And so like grew up in LA, did the whole LA thing, and now this year he produced my record, produced the Sabrina Carpenter record, and the Teddy Swims project. And so I feel like his ability to kind of shift in between like all those different things while having the wealth of knowledge that he has, he kind of just came in and like challenged me in a bunch of different ways, musically, lyrically, sonically.
When you say challenge, like he if you have something that you like, and he's like, does he say, I think that can be better? Like, do you allow someone to challenge you like that?
Oh, dude, 100%, 100%. We do this thing called the firing squad with each other. So me and him and a couple people will sit around. I don't know if y'all do this, but you should. We sit around and we just pass the little speaker around, and we just play songs, and we absolutely go hard in the paint on what we either like or can't stand about the song. So I feel like in this like every single song went through so many rounds of like, why do you like this? Why do you not like this? I love the first verse. I hate the second verse. The bridge could be better. So I think having the time this go around, because I have such a light touring year this year, it allowed me to kind of like keep going back over to Julian's house and tweaking melody and tweaking verses. And I've never done that before. It's kind of always been like, well, the song is done. That's what it's going to be. A lot of these songs went through a bunch of different rounds of just like fixing and tweaking until we both felt like it was right. So.
Will you ever sing and somebody like Julian or whomever you trust is like, do it again, that is not it, and you're like, no, I feel like that's it, like, and they push you, and then maybe you hit a new spot, or maybe you have to chase a place you don't feel comfortable in? Does that happen? It
happened a lot on this project, because I feel like I've really found my voice, and I feel like I know how I sing, but he challenged me in a bunch of different ways on this record, like on Boots, which is like I think track maybe 12 or 13. I think I told you this the other night, but I sang it like me, and he was just like, I feel like your vocal is boring. And I was like, what do you mean to do? And he was like, I just want you to channel Elvis and Dwight Yoakam right here. Even if we don't use it, I just want to hear what it sounds like. And so I did it as a joke, and then I started living with that, and all of a sudden it became so much more cooler. It just became cooler to me because it was almost like I was playing a character for the first time. On a song like Can't Love You Anymore, like I always sing really full voice, and he challenged me to sing in kind of like this weird, not whisper but not yelling kind of voice. And so I feel like on a lot of the tracks on this record, he kind of encouraged me to kind of sing differently on a lot of different things to kind of just keep making the record interesting as you went down the project. So
Ray, I want to hear a little bit of Boots that he was talking about. That's cool. It's like, it's way cooler than
yeah. And like, yeah,
that song though, it needs like some sort of
for sure. I mean, you could
modification.
You could have easily gone in there and just gone, okay, to talk to the session players and be like, let's record a 90s honky tonk sounding song, and I'll sing it like me. But then you start tweaking, and you kind of get more into this like rockabilly land, and then paired with like this, kind of like ZZ Top, like a hole, like just kind of just getting just more into the song, and it just made it so much more interesting to me. So
I'm gonna play, which is the song that the record is kind of named after, about a woman. So give me a little something here before I go into this. Like, I don't know, when I talk about that, what do you think? What do you say?
With the song Something About a Woman?
Yeah.
I feel like it is the song, I think Something About a Woman and Boots are the ones that feel like the most left of center songs on the project.
Really?
I feel like they do. And if you know me, like I'm a giant like Rolling Stones fan, like big Steely Dan fan, and I feel like I was trying to channel like my inner Mick Jagger on this track. We wrote this song at like 2 o'clock in the morning on the road, and once we'd finished it, I was like, I don't know where this goes. Like, does it go on this project? Does it come as a one-off? And the more I listened to it, the more it just kind of became my favorite thing. It's the one that when I sit down with a guitar, it's like the first thing I start playing. So when you record an album, do you do it all and like you go and you lock yourself in a studio for 4 days? Is it different every time? Does sometimes it take months? Like this record, I don't know. Do you record all the track? I don't understand how this works. Yeah, this record was different than any record I've ever done. During COVID, I taught myself how to like record my vocal at my house. And so I feel like when I would used to go record songs, it would always be like, okay, we're going to block 7 days to go to your producer's house or to the studio. and do a gajillion takes of a song and whatever. But I kind of felt like doing it in my studio, like in my basement at home, like I just felt like I could try more without anyone watching. And so I would just like literally just compile, and then I would shoot it over to Julian and he would do all the comping.
What's that mean, comping?
Like when you sing a song like 10 times in a row, you kind of like go through and you kind of get to pick the best pieces of the verse or pick the best pieces of the chorus. And so I could never comp my vocal. I would go absolutely crazy doing that, but there are some people that are so good at it. But yeah, I mean, we would go in and track, with a live band, and we would take kind of the raw pieces of it and kind of, we did mostly subtracting, which was interesting because I always feel like in my music, I'm one of those people that just always likes to add and add and add. If there's 2-part harmony, let's make it 4. You know what I mean? And I feel like Julian and Dan did a good job on this record at really just like subtracting. So kind of just taking the bones and just making what needed to be there stay there. So I feel like there's on this record, there's more space than there's ever been on my projects, which kind of terrified me in a way because space freaks me out. Like even when I'm playing shows, if like we end a song and like my drummer has to change his snare drum or we have like guitar changes or whatever, I start to panic because I feel like we just need to get into the next song as fast as humanly possible. But I've kind of learned how to embrace the space on this project. So,
do you ever hear any flaws in your old records that's your fault?
I mean, yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe that 5 records ago, like I missed that a little. You ever hear that? Or purposefully leave a flaw in? Because I can think of a couple famous songs.
Oh, yeah.
Not even yours. Like James Blunt, You're Beautiful, that beginning part.
Yeah.
Colby Calais, Hey, Can You Count Me In? There are a lot of those little, any of that on your records where they either left one in?
I've always really loved flaw on albums. Like, I think probably my favorite reference would be like one of the first couple Led Zeppelin albums. Like John Bonham is the reason I ever wanted to play drums. And so like when you listen to those records, you can hear his like kick drum pedal squeaking, in the microphone or whatever. And today you would be able to just like take that out. But I think flaw is what makes you human. You know what I'm saying? And so there's definitely sometimes when I listen down to a vocal or like my voice cracked or my voice broke, but
on a record though that made it and you didn't catch it until it's like fully produced.
No, because I listen to these songs way too many times not to catch that stuff. But I think I definitely look back at records and I go, man, that record could have done without 5 or 6 of those songs. You know what I mean? Because I do think we kind of live in an age where it's like more is better all the time. Content, music, whatever. And so like on this record, like even just putting 14 songs on this project freaked me out because I was like, everybody is putting a gajillion songs on their project and they're releasing like 3 projects a year. But yeah, I definitely look back at my older records and I'm like, man, those could have easily been 11 songs and not 18.
There's I think of, were you a Nirvana fan ever?
Yes, but not.
Or did it miss you?
No, I was a Nirvana fan, but probably not as big as you were.
Yeah, big. I'm obviously a little older too, but there's a song Polly where it's like Polly says her back hurts, but he jumps in. He should have waited 4, and he jumped in at 2. Yeah. And I listened to the producer who was in Garbage, who was a very famous producer, and he was talking about how he just jumped in early and they left it in. Like I love those instances of it. Just seems normal now.
Yeah, for sure.
We hear these famous songs, but they left like.
Well, those are the things. Those are the things that you can't wait to like scream at a concert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a hidden tracks used to be a rad thing.
It was
like I don't know that our generation has the capacity to wait 60 seconds after the last song is over.
And we would see now how long a song is, and it would end at 3. I'd be like, why is this track 7 minutes? Because I remember like Hard Candy from Counting Crows on the last. I would hold down this, and it fast forwards on the CD, right?
Oh yeah.
And then it would hear, oh no, said
for sure.
And it was Joni Mitchell, and it ended up later being them with the Vanessa Carlton. You know, Pave Paradise to put up. But that was the hidden track, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
I know.
Yeah, hidden tracks were so legit.
We need to bring them back.
What about like backward masking? You ever hear about that?
Where
like
you play the song backwards
like
and it means something? And
people would be like, you'd hear this. You'd hear, right. And people would be like, I swear he just said the devil's wearing jeans. Like, no, he didn't say the devil's wearing jeans. He said,
yeah.
What do you listen to whenever, not new, not going to put you there, but when it's, you just are going to like relax, if you're going to like grill out in the back and you got to put something on that you love, but you don't have to spend a lot of attention to, like what's your songs, what's your music?
Man, I'm kind of an old soul. I feel like when we're like cooking at the house or whatever, I just put on Frank Sinatra radio. There's something about the 50s. I don't know what it is, but it puts me in a very joyous mood. So 50s music, I think, or Yacht Rock.
Yeah, Yacht Rock's fun.
Yeah.
When the big ballads come on Yacht Rock, that's pretty fun stuff.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Did you guys go to Africa?
We did. We were there for 3 weeks.
How long is that flight?
God, which one? I mean, my family went over to London to try to adapt to the time with all my kids, and I flew from Denver to London to Dubai down to Uganda. And so all in all, it's about a 36-hour travel day.
That's
yeah,
wild.
And coming back Dubai to Washington D.C. is a 15-hour straight flight, and we did that with four kids.
And what do you do while you're there for 3 weeks? Was it your daughter's first time to
Yeah, it was. We kind of did half and half. So my wife is on the board of this organization called Love One International, and for the last 5 or 6 years, they've been raising money to build this center in this little town about 5 hours north of Kampala, which is the capital. So we went over there for the grand opening of that, and it was amazing. And but yeah, watching Willa Gray go back to Uganda for the first time, it's been 8 years now. It was one of the most special moments as a dad that I've ever experienced.
When you wrote Mama's House, because you wrote that with Morgan.
Yeah.
How did that come up as a topic? Did someone come in and go, let's write about a mamaw? Or did that organically just come about in conversation?
That was the first time I ever wrote with Morgan. It was on Zoom during COVID. It was me and him and Josh Thompson and a guy named Matt Dragstrom. We actually had written another song. I don't even remember what it was called, but I remember almost getting off the Zoom thinking we just wrote the worst song ever. And Morgan randomly gets a phone call from his grandmama, and you can hear it in the very beginning of the track. That was live audio from that session. And he got back, and I was like, man, I didn't know you had a mamaw that was from East Tennessee, because I've got a mamaw from East Tennessee. And we started talking about the way that we were raised and all this kind of stuff. And so we were just like, let's write a song about our grandparents, kind of honestly thinking this is never going to see the light of day. And it didn't for 4 years. And then, it came out, and turns out a lot of people love singing about their grandmamas. So
I would say that's accurate. I think a lot of people like the song too, even if they don't like their grandmothers.
Sure, right, yeah.
You ever write a song that you feel like is really good, and it just doesn't make sense for you? Not even timing wise, but it's just man, I love this song and it's super catchy and says, but I don't make sense singing it.
For sure, it happens a lot actually.
What's one of those?
Nothing. Probably nothing recently. But I just had a hit with Dustin Lynch on a song called Stars Like Confetti that I wrote and I loved, but it didn't make sense for my project. And I don't even have a reason for that. But I think listening down and then putting that song in the mix, it didn't make sense.
I like when it goes, Stars Like Confetti.
Yeah.
That
just a little ear candy.
Yeah. So tell me about that specifically, because I like that, because it definitely hits way different, and there's a chance that when it hits different, it's going to hit, oh, that's super catchy, or that's super corny.
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
a fine line.
Yeah,
I love that. That's what comes about. What are you saying? What's he saying exactly?
I think just yeah.
Did you write that in the initial chorus?
Yeah.
And
I've got the demo. I'll play it. I'll send it to you.
And then did you think, should we leave the in, or did you know immediately? You felt like that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, I think we just wrote it, and I don't know, 6-8 months went by and nothing was happening with it. And so I think my buddy Josh Thompson sent it to Dustin, and he texted me and said, are you going to do anything with this? And I said, I don't think so. And you never know when people record your songs if they're just going to be random track number 10 on an album, if they actually have a chance at making it as a single. But I think that song was kind of starting to pop organically. And yeah, Dustin pretty much sang it how we did it in the demo. So I was surprised.
I love it, and I just love the
Yeah.
That is such.
Well, it's like oohs and ahs, and it's just something for people to latch onto. You know what I mean? Even if you don't know any of the other words in the show, you can go you know.
Do you think if someone walked in with a shotgun right now and said, Thomas Rhett, I need you to go in this room and I need you to write a song, and it has to be a hit, and it can be as simple as possible, and you have 30 minutes. You could write a hit song. You can put all the claps and oohs and ahs and kid choir, anything you want that is no. Do you think you could write a song in 30 minutes that would be a hit?
Maybe.
Why's it got to be a shotgun?
Yeah.
Well, because we got to make him want to do it. Otherwise, he's because Thomas invests a lot of himself into his art and wants to say things that are important to him. But I'm not asking you to do that. Yeah. I'm saying you just got to write a goofy radio hit.
Yeah.
Do you think in 30 minutes you could do one?
I think I could.
Yeah, that's awesome. Get the gun.
Bring it in.
Bring the gun. About a Woman. It is out today. 14 tracks.
Yeah, 14.
Hey, what's the deal? You and Lauren, the UT and Georgia versions. What's even happening here? Where you guys are going against each other?
So that rivalry in our house has just been like such a joke for a long time. And like, you know, me and my dad are like the only two Georgia Bulldog fans that I spend a lot of time with. And so we go to a lot of UT games, and I feel like there's just not a whole bunch of love for the Georgia Bulldogs around my family. And so somebody on my team had the idea of making these two different vinyls to see.
Oh, it's the vinyls.
It's a vinyl. So one
colors.
has like the orange and white checkerboard on the hood, and the other has like the red and black like Georgia stripe on the hood. And we just kind of wanted to make a competition out of that to kind of see who had more loyalty from my fan base. And so she's beating me by like 35% currently, which is not shocking. So
About a Woman is out today. One other thing, you look really like healthy.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anything? What are you doing new?
I think I'm just like playing shows again.
Oh yeah.
I've lost like 12 pounds over the summer, and I don't know if it's from jumping around in July and August heat or whatever. But
yeah, you look good.
I can't fit into most of my pants.
Bobby,
now,
you can't say that with such emphasis of
He
like.
does look good.
I know
Thanks,
you
dude.
look good, but when it's like you look good, like
No,
what
like
have you
even
been
his
doing?
hair,
It's
even
like-
his hair is like popping. It's like a good color. It's like it's crazy.
A little bit of salt and pepper happening in
It's
there.
awesome.
Embracing it.
New album's out. Good to see you, buddy.
Likewise, man. Thank
As
you.
always, root for everything you do. What if someone said, final thing, what if someone said, Thomas Rhett, your producer, and you know how you said they wanted you to like a little channel, a little Dwight Yoakam, a little, maybe I'm as fast as you, you know, whatever that is. And they were like, we need you to channel Mickey Mouse and just lay down a little bit of half of me. But I need you to do like Mickey Mouse.
I could not do that.
Well, no, I'm your producer, Thomas
But like,
Rhett.
what's a Mickey? Like, what does Mickey sound? Okay, there
Yeah,
you
there's
go.
no way.
Half of me.
I kind of have to at least agree.
See, yeah, we'd never work together then. We'd never work. You'd be out.
Bobby's producing the next record. Yeah.
See, you didn't come to the challenge, so now I'm going to go back to the Wiggles, which is what I've been known for.
God.
Yes. Thomas Rhett, the new record, About a Woman. Thomas, good to see you, buddy.
Likewise. Thank you.
It's a